Today is Election Day, what to expect in Oklahoma, and Tulsa could be the state's first city to offer self-driving vehicles for public transit. We'll have details coming up on the KGOU AM News Brief for Tuesday, November 5th. I'm Nick Daniels. It's Election Day in Oklahoma and across the country. OPMX's Robbie Korth reports on what to expect at the polls.
Voters in Oklahoma have already cast approximately 400,000 ballots early and by mail, but almost 2 million more people are registered to vote and could be voting today. There's more on the ballot than just the presidential contest between Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Kamala Harris. Oklahoma Supreme Court retention elections, a pair of state questions, and a bevy of local races will be decided at the polls. Most races in the Oklahoma legislature have already been decided by primary elections or lack of opponents, but a handful of seats representing communities like Edmond, Stillwater, and parts of Oklahoma City are still up for grabs. I'm Robbie Korth.
Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Election officials say if you're in line at 7 p.m., they urge you to stay in line. You will be able to cast a ballot. For more information, visit the state's voter portal. You can find a link at kgou.org. Well, tornadoes tore through central Oklahoma over the weekend, destroying homes, upturning cars, and leaving other damage in their wake. But polling places remain standing. Officials anticipate a smooth election process. The State Election Board reports all voting sites are ready for visitors throughout Election Day.
It's all hands on deck when it comes to Election Day, and our precinct officials are doing the very best they can to get voters in and out of the polls as quickly as possible.
That's spokesperson Misha Moore. She says precautions are in place if a polling location loses power. More Oklahomans than ever are registered to vote in time for today's election. State Capitol reporter Lionel Ramos breaks down the latest registration numbers from the State Election Board.
There are 2.4 million Oklahomans registered to vote as of November 1st. That's up by about 141,000 voters since January and 29,000 since the end of September. Just over half of all registered voters in Oklahoma are Republicans. About a quarter are Democrats and a fifth are independents. Less than 1% are registered as libertarians. Voter registration numbers don't necessarily translate to voter turnout. Still, in a press release statement, State Election Board Secretary Paul Zierix says he's encouraged by the record-breaking numbers and hopeful Oklahomans will make their way to the polls. I'm Lionel Ramos.
Turning to other news, Tulsa could be the first city in Oklahoma to use self-driving vehicles for public transit, but community input is needed first. We get this story from OPMX's Ben Abrams.
A project headed by the Indian Nations Council of Governments, or INCOG, is looking to bring 4 autonomous vans to North Tulsa in 2026. Shada Brown with the Terrence Crutcher Foundation, a partner on the project, says bringing autonomous transit to North Tulsa could help alleviate long-standing inequalities.
Part of that is definitely having access to transportation and being able to get to work and school and even the gym or other entertainment in our lives that everyone deserves access to.
There are several other partners on the project, including Metrolink Tulsa, who will integrate the driverless vans into their already existing microtransit rideshare service. Cornell University is developing the software for the vehicles. For anyone nervous about riding in an autonomous vehicle, INCOG says each vehicle will be staffed with a human safety driver. The project is being funded by a $3.4 million grant from the U.S. Department of Energy. In Tulsa, I'm Ben Abrams.
For more news and election coverage, visit our website, kgou.org. We also invite you to follow us on social media at KGOU News on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Join us for special election night coverage beginning this evening at 6.
No matter what happens in Washington, the NPR Politics Podcast is here for you. For the latest news, insights, and analysis from the election and beyond, listen to the NPR Politics Podcast.